Report.
Big shout out to the Ruler Report. Give him a like, comment, subscribe for everything he has going on.
And Suge going crazy. Oh, SKG then did it again. The new bro Suge went this from Australia. I guess because Suge been talking about SKG, who she ain't so much. She ain't found SKG. So after SKG started going in on her, I guess Suge called her.
I'm on mute, y'all. Have a good day. Call. You will not be charged for this call. And listen to these lines. Stay or dial 5 now.
When it's time to get dope, I take off. Before the feds get the dope, I take.
Make sure y'all show some love to Ruler Report, man. He got a lot of things going on. Now, what you guys don't know is that Suge Knight is set to testify against Reggie Wright. But Suge Knight says, you know what? Never mind. I'm not going to testify. And that's in the unalivement of Tupac case. So with that all being said, man, we've been decided to the Ruler Report, see exactly what he got going on this morning with this Kantiana.
Mainly because people want to know if he's actually going to testify. Now, we do know that he's on the witness list for the prosecution, and he possibly will be taken to court. Now, once he gets there, who knows what's going to be said, but there was a TMZ interview today that dropped with Suge Knight on it. And he spoke about the possibilities of him testifying, as well as he said some things that might indicate that Suge Knight might be ready to tell the truth about what happened to Tupac.
You know, what the prosecution is saying is that the best witness for them is Keefe. It's Keefe D, because he essentially confessed that he wrote a book. He's talked about this on...
Yeah, Keefe D did the absolute most, man. Books, podcasts, tours. He went on a whole media run with this. Not a smart move.
Podcasts. He's now kind of moonwalking back here and saying, well, I had a ghostwriter in the book. What do you make of that?
He's full of I look at it like this. It's not about picking on Keefe D, but at the same time, most of his situations, I know he did it to himself. I knew his lawyer. His lawyer was a friend of mine, and I knew about him having immunity and doing that deal a long time ago. I have a book coming out called Your Pain Is My Joy. It was coming out this month. When I found out that he wasn't been going to trial, I said, well, I'm not going to put the book out. I'll put it out in September because it'll be too much, for them to deal with. He deserves a fair shake. But I think what he should do, he already told everything. He already told on himself. He should deal with a situation where make it best for everybody.
If you listen to what Suge just said, first and foremost, Suge is talking about he got a book that he pushed back deliberately because to make it fair for Keefe D because of what's going to be said in this book.
But then, see, Suge Knight should be worried about himself. Don't worry about what Keefe D got going on because Keefe D ain't worried about what Suge Knight got going on.
I told y'all before I start recording that part that he's ready to tell his truth about what happened to Tupac, right? But then he goes on to say that Keefe D has already told these people everything. He's already told on himself. He's already told how it went down. He should just do what's best for everybody. This is a dog whistle. What he's trying to get to Keefe D, listen, go ahead and take the deal. Don't go to trial, because if you go to trial, you're going to force my hand and I'm going to have to get on that stand, you know what I mean, and testify. And I don't really...
Now, that's definitely a thought. But then Suge Knight, I will say, has maintained that he's not, he's not going to testify. He said that he's not going to get on the stand against Keefe D. He said he don't want nothing to do with that.
I want to do that to you. And SKG, somebody who's been around, the industry out in Los Angeles, her name comes up in this interview. Her name was just recently brought up in content involving WACK100, where a phone call was actually recorded and leaked with Suge's voice on it. Now, Suge Knight would bring her name up and speak about not only her, but other individuals who are working alongside of her, as well as Keefe D.
It was a girl I knew back in the day named SKG. She was black, Asian, about 5'6", 115 pounds. Now somebody else said they SKG, and they deal with a
So wait. They got a fake SKG? That would not actually surprise me at all when it comes to WACK100.
that deals with Keefy D. They deal with a person who hated Tupac. All these people were saying the most horrible things about Tupac that you possibly can say about a man. And it was all lies. Now they want to act like they're going to report what's going on. But these guys is in Keefy D's camp, who tried to bail him out and help him. I don't look for bad on him, but I don't look for good on him.
Now, look, with Keefy D mentioning all the things that he mentioned, bailing him out, trying to help him, hate Tupac, associated with SKG. He didn't say WACK100's name, but, you know, we're going to say he was talking to WACK100 or talking about WACK100 in that particular situation. And true enough, like WACK...
Isn't it crazy that anytime it's anything to do with an indictment or a court case or somebody getting some time, this nigga WACK is always in the mix. Always in the mix. Like, no matter what happens, this nigga's forever in the mix.
100 has had his opinion, unpopular opinion, by the way, about Tupac. We also know he's dealt with SKG, not only dealing with Suge Knight, but, you know, in other situations and scenarios dealing with content. But
SKG is a girl who threw the Mountain Dew at Big U while on the phone with WACK100.
Even with that being said, you know, there was the actual audio that was put out, like I said, that WACK100 played. And Suge Knight must have heard this, because some of the things that was said in this recorded audio, this jail call, I'm imagining that with it being put out there, Suge Knight was pissed off.
You a motherfucking liar. That was right. The only thing you trying to do is get your name out there. So you can...
I'm going to get my name out there when I'm the one with the motion. I moved out here for you. You been lying to me this whole fucking time. Yeah, I got my own motion.
I've got my own motion. I've got my own motion. Why don't you? It's put another shrimp on a barbie. Hey, baby ate my dingo. Ate my baby. A dingo ate my baby. She's very Australian.
Okay, so why you mention my name then? At all?
Why would I? Because I went to a back with her. You told me you don't know this girl. You think you don't know this girl. You think you don't know this girl. I told you if you keep exposing you, SKB, you told me you don't know her. You think you don't know that bitch.
I don't know that bitch.
Okay, so I
You hang with that bitch.
you again. I'm going to listen. You leave me alone. You understand me?
Mission accomplished. See, this is how it work with me. I will forever be your enemy in every shape, form, and fashion, and it ain't no fair to fight. Australian bitch, she moved to San Diego. She visiting you every weekend, buying you your little snacks. So I told her, I said, let me ask you a question. He ain't got no teeth at the bottom of his mouth, right? She said no. I said he blind.
What the hell does him not having any teeth at the bottom of his mouth have to do with the fact that you're yet again labeled and wrapped up in somebody's indictment?
One eye, right? She said, yeah. I said he's lost massive amounts of weight, right? She said, oh my God, how do you know? I said, the only thing you don't know about is the Mexican we got in his cell. Now, he's gonna tell you this is from his diabetes, right? Yes, is what he said. Was he that little before he went to prison? No. Well, he had diabetes before he went to prison. Oh my God. Do you think it's... I said, and you going in there kissing on him and all this old shit. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Wack is saying that Suge Knight got that Eazy-E that put you down, that Magic Johnson. That's what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Wack trying to say he got that, hold on, let me... You know what I'm saying? That's what Wack trying to say that Suge Knight got. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Or maybe he might be trying to say that the boy got a full-blown... Hold on. He might be saying that, but I don't know.
So I text SKG. I said, close it on out. And that was the ending results.
It seems as if Suge Knight has himself in a whole different situation, and he used the opportunity while he was on TMZ to take a shot at WACK100. I can't say I'm mad at him, right? But at some point he had to get some get back, because them actually recording this phone call and basically reaching out to this female and ruining the situation for Suge is crazy, because y'all gotta think about it. I'm not gonna sit up and judge Suge's pockets, but I imagine the little broad was doing something for him. If she wasn't doing something for him,
I would imagine too, like, and that's cold because he in jail, so he need all the little favors that he could get.
mentally by talking to him on the phone and keeping him company while he's serving that 28-year bid, she could have been sending him money to put food in his box. So by WACK, actually, tapping in with her after SKG brings the female to him and exposed some things to her that she felt Suge lied about, it messed up the whole situation for Suge. This is, in my mind, one of the many things that Suge will have an issue with WACK, because this just happened. This video ain't even that old. So, it is what it is. Now, as far as him testifying in the Keefe D situation, I really can't say that I think that Suge isn't going to testify. I think that Suge, again, I believe he's dog
Well, Suge is on the list to testify, but again, he's maintaining that he's not going to.
whistling and telling Keefe D, like, hey, listen, don't force my hand. You go ahead and tell them what they want to know. Take a plea deal and take your time. And, it'll be the best thing to do for everybody. Y'all heard him say that, and I really pointed that out. Once this trial really gets into motion, man, look for other people to actually testify as well. One of those individuals would be Reggie Wright Jr.
When the prosecution reached out to you and asked you to testify as a witness, what was your first reaction?
Whatever to do to get justice for Tupac, Reggie Wright is down for it.
Told you.
No, Reggie Wright said he ain't tripping. He gonna give it all up. He putting cases on all you. Just that all being said, man, we up out here to the next one. Red down to the left. You know the rest. Say a prayer and be blessed. Shout out to the Ruler Report. We go.